Hello and welcome to another episode of the New Level Nerds. My name is Steve.
And I'm Nerd Mouse.
And today we are at PAX 2017.
Woo!
Let's take a look.
Boopity boop boop.
I have no idea what we're going to say, do you?
No.
No. Okay.
Hello and welcome to the show. Today we're going to be talking about PAX West 2017. Is that not your favorite part of the year?
It's the most wonderful time
of the year. First off, though, I just want to introduce those who don't know what PAX is to the wonder that is the Penny Arcade Expo. Penny Arcade Expo is a gaming convention that brings game developers and game-related peripherals such as computers, headphones, and such together so that they can share what they make with consumers. And truly, it's the best part of the year because you get to go around and try games that haven't even been released yet, or updates, or just alphas, and they blow everything out of proportion for you. It is definitely an overwhelming sensory overload of excitement. There is a lot of lines that you have to wait in, sometimes 3-5 hours. If there's a game that you know you want to try, you could dedicate an entire day to it. Fortunately, there are 4 days in which you can plan all of these non-stop line-standing events.
I mean, PAX is really great, especially for me. I get to play a whole range of games that I would not normally spend my money on.
Absolutely. I'm always trying games that I think look horrible, and sometimes my mind has changed. So let's take a look at a few of those games right now. Remember, we're only playing 10-20 minutes worth of this game, so it is a very superficial look, but it lets you know what might be coming up and what could interest you. Let's start with a game that completely blew me away. It's called Signal Decay. It's an overhead spy infiltration game with sneaking and assassination elements. It's a co-op game with emphasis on cooperation. That's where it truly shines, when 2 people can play together and use assassination techniques of distraction.
Sneaking around, hacking consoles, taking people down. It was good fun.
It was, and the controls are also very simple too. A lot of things that would require a button press have been simply replaced with pointing in the direction of the object you're trying to manipulate. Overall, this is definitely going to be a game which I am going to buy when it comes out.
I definitely agree. I'd like to give this game more of a play.
Brilliant. Co-op.
One of the games I really enjoyed is called Chronicles of Nyonya. And it's an anime-inspired RPG. You play as a cat in a cardboard town full of other cats, and you raise sushi to shear them for profit. It's very silly and kind of weird, but I had good fun with it. The combat system in this game was a turn-based RPG-style combat system. It seemed like it had a lot of depth, but that was really hard to get into in the short amount of time I had to play at PAX. I really enjoyed the look of this game. It's got a hand-drawn quality, it's got bright colors, it's got cute animations. I really enjoyed it.
But would you buy it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Next up is Detached, a VR space game that really concentrates on the control. The experience I had at PAX was truly breathtaking because it's one of the first beautiful space experiences that I've truly had in VR. However, the controls for other people I definitely noticed was very difficult to take care of, using one hand to move forward or backwards and the other hand to turn yourself over.
I definitely had a good experience with this game at first. I played through the tutorial, but by the time I got into the level, I was starting to feel a little bit motion sick, and so I found it really hard to focus on the puzzles.
If VR is something that you have and you love the space adventure but don't mind a little bit of a potentially motion sickness kind of experience, then definitely check this out now.
Well, PAX can be a really stressful experience, and definitely at one point I was really feeling the pressure. And still, Nerd Steve sat me down in front of a game called Verdant Skies. Now, Verdant Skies is a Harvest Moon, Stardew Valley type life dating sim. It's got a really relaxed vibe. Now, what they've done with Verdant Skies is they've taken it from a space angle. You are a colonist and you've crash landed on the planet that you're meant to be colonizing. It's got a lot of those elements of your usual farm sim. You're going to be planting crops, you're going to be talking to people. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some questing, but it's all really relaxed. It's really peaceful, it's calming, and they've designed it that way.
It really looks like it was designed by graphic designers as well. Everything is very well hand-drawn.
It was a great experience to sit down in front of this game and really chill out for a while. I'm not sure when it's going to be out or what platforms it'll be coming out to, but I'll definitely keep an eye out for it, and I'm going to buy it if I can. So PAX is a really good experience for picking up a game you haven't necessarily thought that you would buy before, and give that a go. Did you find there were any games for you that really changed your mind?
Actually, there was. Oxygen Not Included is a space-themed environmental manager where you're in charge of a crew working against the environment. I'm not sure if you're attempting to build a colony there or you were stranded, but for the most part, you're underground, trying to build things to help survive, while different things such as gases or giant pools of liquid are surrounding you, and in order to expand, you have to deal with those problems. When I was first introduced to the game, I was told that it was a lot like Fallout Shelter, which is a lot of fun, but unfortunately over a period of time becomes very bland as you're stuck in one location. Whereas the opportunity to get to actually see it, I wasn't able to play it, showed me that there's a lot more going on.
Yeah, and this one's from the same team that did Don't Starve and Don't Starve Together, which are some of my favorite games, and have a surprising amount of depth, so I'd really like to give this one a go as well.
Speaking about games that we didn't have to play to know that we wanted to buy, I'm definitely interested in picking up Keyboard Sports, a game that involves using the keyboard in a different way. There is no controls like left, right, up, and down. However, depending on the level, you'll use the keyboard maybe you'll be slapping it or you can be punching the keys. I don't know if this is going to be a lot of fun over a period of time, but it does look like the developer tried to keep it unique and interesting as the levels go on, so I'd be at least willing to give it a try. The artwork has a very Katamari Damacy effect that looks like it's for children, but it's actually intended for all ages.
Hey, it might be a fun pickup game for that new backlit keyboard you got. Now, we grew up with games like StarCraft and Age of Empires.
And Warcraft.
Absolutely. And one of the new games in this genre that we saw at PAX this year was called Castle Story. Now, it's a Minecraft, StarCraft blend where you use units to harvest resources, build castles, and attack and defend from enemies.
Now, we both got a chance to play this game, and I can definitely say that you had a bit of a better experience than I did.
I got more attention from the developer showing this game at PAX, and she was really able to help me dive into the game without all the reading. Now, unlike some of the other games in this genre, you don't have to set specific tasks to specific units. When they finish the task and there's another task available, they'll move on to it, and that really streamlined the gameplay and helped you focus on what you were going to build instead of what units were doing.
I think I'd probably buy this. What about you?
Oh, absolutely. With that Minecraft element mixed with that StarCraft element, I want to play this game.
Yeah. The next game I'd like to talk about is called Tiny Bubbles. It's a very unique physics-based game where you pop bubbles in certain order in order to actually complete the puzzle. Apparently this is based on work by the developer's husband's grandfather with bubble physics, and it definitely shows. Everything about the bubbles look realistic. The colors are beautiful, and even though I didn't get a chance to play the game, just by looking at it, I was definitely intrigued. I don't know if it has long-term gameplay ability, but once again, only got to see about 10 minutes of it. It could very well get much more complex later on. The game mechanics allow for it.
Well, I definitely agree. I did get to play this game, and I found that it was just a beautiful experience. I got through 3 or 4 puzzles before I found one that I really had to think about, and I'm sure they get a lot harder as you go on.
It looks like the kind of game that would be hard to master, but very easy to pick up.
Oh yeah.
I would definitely buy this when it comes out. Now, for all of the AAA titles that are available to play at PAX, we actually didn't get a lot of a chance to play any of them, like Doom VR, Skyrim VR, and Fallout 4 VR, which I really wanted to try. All the lines for those were about 3.5-hour wait, and we're just too impatient. But 2 games that we did get a chance to try were Elder Scrolls Online Morrowind and Dishonored: Death of the Outsider. Death of the Outsider is, I believe, the 3rd installment in the Dishonored series. I haven't had a chance to play the other 2, but it definitely looks like basically the same thing. Unfortunately, I really have to base this game on its standing alone. With the demo, it didn't give a very good description of how to play the game, assuming that you knew details already. So at first, I know I was confused, but for you, it took you quite a while to figure out some of the mechanics.
I spent quite a while in this game just figuring out the first step, because it was unclear what menu I had to go to in order to get the power that I was supposed to be using. I ended up having to talk to one of the representatives, and she was able to sort me out pretty quick.
And once I got into the game, it was definitely a lot of fun. Transporting from place to place, sneaking up behind people, and taking their soul, appearance, something? I think we're even able to talk to rats.
Yeah, gathering information from rats is a mechanic I'd definitely like to explore more.
As far as the missions go, I was a bit confused, as I think maybe it's supposed to be a little bit more, well, like the Elder Scrolls series, where you just pick up missions and go. I was definitely expecting something a little bit more linear. The game, of course, is beautiful, and for that, it really shouldn't be taken in consideration whether it makes a good game or not. It's all about the mechanics for these AAA games. And as far as the feel, it definitely felt good, but I don't think it really delivered anything to me that was mind-blowingly different.
I don't think I got enough of this game in order to make a real call on what I felt about it, but I know there's quite a high level of gore, which definitely turns me off a game.
How about for Elder Scrolls Online? It was definitely your first experience with the Elder Scrolls Online series.
Yeah, I've played plenty of regular Skyrim, and I love Skyrim. And I found for me, my short experience with Elder Scrolls Online Morrowind, it was beautiful. It really felt just like Skyrim, but with those graphics updated for the modern gaming experience. I had a lot of fun, and it was beautiful.
I spent the majority of my gameplay in third-person mode with absolutely no idea that there was a first-person mode until we were in another line and I looked over somebody's shoulder.
Oh.
I absolutely would have tried it in first-person mode had I known. That's the way that I like to play Skyrim, and that's definitely the way I would have liked to play Elder Scrolls. And for that matter, I think it's something I would have gotten into. As far as an online game goes, it definitely looks like what you would expect, except I've never seen the mechanic before of being warned as to what your opponent was going to do first. Another indie VR game which I was definitely interested in giving a go was called Ship It. In fact, I've already purchased myself a copy. It's like Tetris, but with suitcases in a production line. As pieces come towards you, you're supposed to grab them, move them into the cases, fill those cases as much as you can, and then send those off to be sold to people who like shaped squares. Especially talking to the developer, it seems that they really wanted to create something that would be enjoyable for a friend to pick up, but ramps up in the difficulty very quickly so that you get hooked and you just know you could get one more block in there somehow and you're not moving fast enough, it's your fault and you're gonna get fired, so you better do better. While we were at PAX, I didn't know if I was actually going to pick it up, but I definitely know now that I'm happy I did.
One of the games we really enjoyed from the PAX 10 this year is called West of Loathing. It has a really simple graphic style. It's black and white and stick figures. Don't mistake it for it being a low quality game.
There's definitely a lot of complexity put into this piece, and that's from only about 2 to 3 minutes of playing it. I was mainly fiddling around into the option menu, and I was finding things like colorblind mode for a black and white game. There was
Gotta be inclusive.
There was a silly walk mode, which
hilarious.
Didn't add anything to the gameplay except a silly walk.
I loved that Monty Python reference.
Also, the currency is neat.
Yeah, not sure why that is, but it's just one of those really strange, silly elements to this game. Now, we've mentioned that it's silly, and it is, but it's also a really deep and complicated game. There's a lot to do here, and the developers described it as being like Skyrim, only with stick figures.
This was definitely not the biggest PAX that we've ever seen, but it never really matters. It's always a lot of fun to get out there, try some awesome games, and to get absolutely exhausted from walking hours and hours and hours and hours and standing in line. It never matters. It's always a lot of fun. And
hey, did we mention that PAX is like Christmas?
And I'm glad that we could bring that to you guys as well and to share it with you.
Let's leave you with a few more shots from PAX, and we'll see you in the next video.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that preview of PAX. We've had a lot of fun this weekend, and I'm really looking forward to coming back next year, but we are just too exhausted to go on. So don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, let us know how we're doing. Other than that, my name is Steve.
I'm Ned Mouse.
And we will see you next time.